Hi guys, it's the Trillium ladies. We're together again, and it's been really exciting going through this whole transition on the planet together. And we were just talking about COVID, and we all had different experiences of what's come up in our reality at restaurants and stuff. And anyway, yeah, so we're diving in. So what do you guys think about the mask thing? I personally do not want to wear one. The only reason I did wear one was on the airplane because I cared enough about getting to my destination. But I do think it's time to fight, because I don't think it's right that they require this, especially when we know a lot of it is based on very manipulative information, psychological operation war tactics. So
Yeah.
Randi, what were you saying about our rights? Like, so we can use a religious exemption to not wear.
Yeah, so there's certain exemptions you can use. Now, a store or a restaurant or whatever can choose to honor that, or they can choose to go against the law and still kick you out because it is a private space. But what I do is I'll go in and I refuse to wear a mask anywhere. I will not do the mask thing. I just won't. Now, airplane, I don't know. I haven't been to that situation yet. But anything besides the airplane, anywhere I go, I will completely refuse to wear a mask. If they will not let me in their facility, then I will leave and they will lose my business. I'm not playing the bullshit game where their fucked up rules have power over me, right? Because I'm just not, we have to stand up at some point and say no.
Yeah.
And if enough people start doing that, that's when businesses are going to start letting people in. Because if 50% of their people say, okay, then I won't shop here, do you think they're going to start listening to that? They're going to actually follow the law that says that people should have a religious exemption, that they are CDC compliant, whatever reason they choose to not wear a mask is their choice. And we have to stand up for that freedom of choice, or we will lose our freedoms. Yeah. And compliance is giving into the control system, and that's how we lose freedom. Defiance, peacefully, is how we keep our freedom. And that, to me, what this is about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I'm going to do that too. I'm going to not wear one and then turn away and maybe not come back.
Yeah. If you're taking me out of your store, that's fine. I will not be back.
Yeah. And there are forums online that's like, we were just talking about a video that we all watched, and forgive me, I forget the name of the woman, but she's being pretty vocal about this. And like in California, the governor 4 or 5 days ago, mandated that masks are worn in public, wherever you are. And she's explaining, really literally clicking on CDC sites and reading the actual verbiage. And it nowhere in there, first of all, it's not a law. There's no code or statute or law that is, and secondly, a governor cannot mandate anything. It's like, so I think people just don't question. They just, just go with what's being told and are not willing to stand up and question. And so there's a lot of confusion, but you can actually print papers out. You can print things out. It does seem like a lot, but it is true. If you start one by one person at a time starts to educate and uses it as a way to educate. You don't have to be outrageous and super vocal, but you can be, really clear and strong and still state the facts so that more and more people become aware.
One thing I've been doing is smiling and being kind and loving, showing up here to be who I am and unapologetically trying to, enlift everybody's day. And I think that's another thing we can do, because I'm starting to really feel like the projection of judgment and shame. And like some people are looking at us like really nasty. And I'm like, I'm just not going to let that affect me. Like, I am a good person. I do care about you. I don't want you all to get sick, but I'm not buying into this narrative. The religious exemption feels the most authentic. I was doing the thing where I walked around and said it wasn't good for my health and the HIPAA violation situation, but that wasn't working very well. So I'll try the religious.
Well, that's sad. It should, Melanie, it should work, because that's right. Exactly it. And I think in the show notes for this that you should post the Healthy American, that link. It's 25 minutes long, the one that Christina was referencing. And that woman, specifically for California, she goes through, but she also says that anyone in any state wants this information for their state, that she will help them get it. It's not hard to get. It's not difficult to get. All you need to know is where to click and look. And these are all recommendations by the health administration. None of this is a requirement. It's a recommendation. So I think the things for me is the same things have been occurring. I've been going to establishments and I haven't had a mask with me, and so they said, oh, please cover your face, and then I just say, no, thank you, it's against my religion. And then they some look at me deer in the headlights, like, what do I do? And I just smile, and they'll usually have a manager, somebody with them, and they'll be like, yeah, okay, like, don't even go any further with that. And so I haven't had any issues, and I just go in, get my few things and leave. It's not like I'm all over everything.
Not me. I try to lick everything while I'm in there.
Lick it all. Hi, Nyla.
Everything I normally would.
I think what's really important, though, is to help. And I guess people they're really not going to believe, and they're not going to get it. But the arguments that I've gotten into, which have really, stabbed me in the heart, is with good friends that are like, how can you not? You are putting everyone in danger, and it's like, okay, let's all take a step back, and then thankfully, I hate to say this, but thankfully, my daughter got it. She's 32. She works in a preschool facility, and she tested positive for COVID, and she went through all the steps of, just taking her vitamins and the zinc and the tonic water and everything. And she's totally fine. And she actually got well relatively quick. Like, I was kind of surprised how quickly she started to feel better again. So when I'm able to share that story, with people, then they're like, oh, okay.
Exactly.
But I play that kindness card too, Melanie, that I just kind of remind people, and even in my mind, just blessing them, like, we're okay, everything is okay. And I think that's important.
Well, and it's interesting too, even just the mask itself, not being able to smile at people and not being able to see people smile at you is such a drag on our society, and the social distancing. I mean, don't you this is my first time being in a grocery store today since they mandated it here in Surprise. And there was no music playing, which I thought was weird. It was like solemn. Nobody looked at each other. There was no interaction. I mean, it's just turning everybody into this zombie state. Yeah. And I swear that's the goal. And
it's
so, like,
isolating,
let's be the ones that are smiling at everybody, because we can, because we're refusing to play that game.
Yeah.
So
it's so isolating. It's it's taking away human touch, the human heart connection. It's one step closer to Sharia law, where we're all covered, so that there's no, your voice, everything is stifled, your throat chakra, everything you want to say, your smile, your emotions.
That's
one
where
step
closer. It's like
manipulated.
It's such a throat chakra thing for me. It's that feeling of the shadow banning on Facebook, or having our videos removed, or having the people we like get infiltrated and their lives messed with. Like, every time that mask goes on, I'm just like, I'm over that. I don't play that game anymore.
Yeah. No, that's me. I completely refuse in every way. I'm just not going there. And I think that's a really good idea. What Melanie says, let's be the opposite. Let's say hello to everyone, smile, let them see what it feels like to be free.
Yes.
And not play this fucking game, because that's all it is a game.
Yeah.
And so let's keep playing our own game. And also, like Krystal said, there's plenty of solutions. Yeah, it's going to go around. Your mask isn't going to do a damn thing. So if you get sick, take high doses of zinc, take lots of high doses of vitamin C. I'm talking like 6 grams of vitamin C 2 to 3 times a day, 4 capsules or so of zinc twice a day, and minerals, really good minerals, find good ones. And you can do tonic water. But yeah, basic stuff, you'll be fine. It's a 99.7% recovery rate. So your chances of dying are pretty minimal, especially if you do all that stuff. So yeah, you're
the
gonna be
tonic
sick.
water
It's gonna suck.
supposedly, the tonic water supposedly opens up the cells to receive the zinc and the vitamin C. So there's a brand that I found called Zevia, which uses stevia instead of the sugar, because like Schweppes, there's
Oh, cool.
tons of sugar. But you
Yeah.
can take a shot of that first and then take your zinc and vitamin C. So it works similar to like hydrochloroquine. So it opens this, that's what
Good to
the
know.
hydrochloroquine, the quinine, it's quinine, which is in the
Can't you just buy the
hydrochloroquine, I believe.
quinine supplement too? Isn't that just a
Maybe,
supplement
I
you
don't
can
know.
order? I think it
Possibly.
is. Yeah,
I
Crystal
think
says
you
yes.
can on Amazon, I believe. It was interesting. I was in a liquor store the other day and just looking, and in the cupboard they had all these different tonic waters. And so I was just kind of looking at them, and literally one of them right underneath the brand said with quinine. And then I looked at the other flavors and it didn't say that same thing, but I thought they're saying it right there, on the front of their label. So I thought that was really fascinating.
I think there's been a lot of
think about
social media talking about it from different healthcare practitioners, and I saw there was one from a chiropractor months ago, like in March, that went pretty viral. So I think people are, obviously, and we've talked about this, this really is awakening and opening the eyes of many, many people. As horrible as it's been, the oppression and all the things imposed, so many people are waking up and calling bullshit and seeing things because it's like you have to show them versus tell them. And so this is really more than anyone I know. It's woken up more people that I know, this whole event, which is that's
you guys will have
That's
to
the good
update me
side.
a little bit, because I've been removed from social media. I've been removed from just scrolling on a lot of the articles and the places I normally get information, just to take a break, because things are getting too stupid. I'm like, this is too stupid. I don't like Jerry Springer. I don't watch that. Why am I playing in this realm? Well, it's everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but it seems to be all over, right? So we know there's like a huge survival rate, and there's cures, and Trump's not wearing a mask, and so that says a lot. Like, where are we at with this agenda? Randi was mentioning chemtrails, and I've always wondered about, are they dropping the virus due to chemtrails? We know they're putting it in the tests, right? So people are testing positive because it's in the test, some of them, right? They probably picked 1,000 out of 10,000. I don't know, like the percentage. And where are we at with the agenda? Like, what do you guys think is really going on? Are we just in the massive information war?
I've actually heard that and we know for sure, I really believe this to be true. Last July, around the 4th, when the earthquakes happened in Southern California, China Basin, those were taking out the main chemtrail base. The Alliance took out the main chemtrail bases, destroyed the airways, the base, which is where most of the chemtrail planes. I immediately noticed way less spraying. And then I have heard from several people that there could be almost, I don't know if I heard hydrochloroquine, but positive things to counteract being sprayed. So it's hard to know. Honestly, I don't see that many chemtrails right now, maybe just selectively on certain days, but way less. And I choose to not be as much in fear or be so pissed at it as I was, because vibrationally that doesn't help, first of all. I'm not going to go, oh, we're all being healed, spray us. But it's, I don't know, I choose to feel that we've maybe hopefully crossed that point where we don't have to worry about that, don't have to worry about the 5G. I just trust that there is a grander plan that is going to mitigate and take care of this. And we do not have to focus our energy on that. Like you always say, Randi, like really focus on your heart, on love, on feeling the frequency and vibration of the world that you know we are going towards, and really feel and believe that. And rather than, there's a difference between educating and getting every piece of information, and some of it isn't necessary. So I'm a little more discerning about what I watch. I'm not as soaking up so much information, but ultimately I have that faith, and that there is a grander plan. I don't see that this is going to go wrong. So it's whatever it is to hold on to that can help you to see that and just know that that's true deep inside you, because things are going to get shaken. We were talking about religion and all of that earlier, and everything's going to, things that people used to turn to are going to not be that rock for them at some point as truths come out. And so there has to be a way for,
That's a really
something to
good
hold on
point,
to.
Christina, that people need to be reminded of how uncomfortable that things will continue to be and things will continue to feel energetically. Randy and I were just talking the other day about that, about, some heavy emotions that hit her, me. It's just been this sense of nausea. And so I've kind of shifted my focus about when I start to feel really uncomfortable. And I look at myself as that experiment again. And I just say, oh yeah, there's this discomfort and this, nausea feeling or whatever it might be. And I really embrace it. And I kind of welcome that in because it's part of the process. And I think that discomfort is really important for people to understand, like, how to navigate that. I don't know, the way to get through it, except you need to understand that it will be there. You will experience it. And there isn't any avoiding that discomfort.
That's
So,
why
Like,
I love
this
about,
too shall pass.
yeah, that's what I love about a lot of the information that was coming through Randi, in the past several months, just like how to love that darkness within us, those aspects of ourselves. And I even love the little voices you do, Randi, sometimes when you're like, do you need to be heard? Do you need to be loved? Almost like talking to a child, but like, that's what we can all do as we go through this time, like, because it's coming up, it's there for examination, and we can't distract ourselves anymore. It's just going to be in our face too much. And so we got to figure out how to love it back into integration. And and I do these shielding techniques, because shielding is very real too, but I'm also, we have to differentiate what we can shield ourselves against and maintain our power and our strength versus what is coming up within us that needs to be integrated. And that's been the thing I've been learning about and playing with. And we're going to be seeing a lot of things come up in the collective, though. So.
And I love too that, Randi, like that you, because most people know you as being, playful and strong and joyous and, just funny. But when you have a moment like the other day, you posted, like, how are people feeling? Like, I've had this deep sadness that's coming up. And it's really showing people, this is just, we all have this, each one of us. And, you don't have to run from it. You don't have to hide yourself away for 5 days because you're not perky. It's so real. And then it opens up such great discussions because so many other people can say, oh God, yeah, I'm really feeling that. And it's just such a great way, it's just a great way for us to be in the world, to just really be in our emotions. And like you said, Krystal, know that this too shall pass. This is just one of the ocean waves that's a little more tumultuous. You will get through it. It will pass. And look at it as, what am I learning from this? What's releasing? What is this about really? And have a big, good cry in the bathtub if you need to. Do whatever you need to do, but don't judge it. Don't be battered down by it. Just let it pass and move on to your next day. Start fresh. Do whatever you can do to center, ground, connect. Feel joy, whatever it is. Like, I'm sitting in my backyard. It's so pretty. I just love all the birds. I have a dog over there. I've got little squirrel families running all over. It's just so nice. I'm spending so much more time in my yard since all this quarantine. It's so great. I just love it.
But we have to we have to do that. We have to maintain our lives and create beauty and joy. But like we were talking about before, we also have to resist this madness. So this could create a odd, dramatic, possibly, scenario every day at this point. I mean, I like to go to restaurants. I like to go shopping. I don't want to stop. I don't feel like there's a need to stop because people are believing what we have been trying to point out for decades is massive amounts of lies. So we have to be strong, but we also have to chill right now.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a lot, I've like had so many downloads the last week and so much information coming through, so much last night. And so, and it's like from deep, deep levels of consciousness that like, that are explaining to me what all of this is really about.
Yeah.
It's too much maybe for this call today, but maybe we could do another video where we could go deeper into it because there's so much here.
I'd love
But
that.
the points that have come out that I feel are the most important are, it told me this is the divine masculine line, literally the divine mask you line. And are we going to, because the most important thing in the universe is sovereignty. And so this reality is a practice ground to see if you will give up your personal sovereignty. Because if you will, then you will also demand others give up their personal sovereignty. And so when you cross that line and you say, well, you have to give up your personal sovereignty for my false sense of security. And it's at a level that's so ridiculous right now to anyone that actually observes it, that it's like those who see it, you can't unsee how ridiculous all of this is, right? And so it's easy to claim your personal sovereignty. And that's what those of us who are in this space, we must do right now, is claim our personal sovereignty. And that's what this whole, this is the mirror world. So like Doctor Strange, you know, when he has the mirror world where they put all the bad guys so they could keep them from the real world. That's what this reality is right now. It's like the practice world. And it's like, and the point of it is to claim your personal sovereignty with no fear.
Nice.
And when you're willing to do that, you're ready to move on. The next step after that is to choose unconditional love. But for this particular 3D experience, sovereignty is number one, free will, because that was the first distortion. And that's what we're here to claim is free will. And in doing that, then you will be able to become a creator. Once you claim your free will, your sovereignty, your own power back, then you choose unconditional love. And unconditional love is your heart source. You have to create through your heart, because that's where your creation will have the power to manifest itself. Otherwise, if you were creating for money, if you're creating for greed, if you're creating for power, if you're creating for any of those other reasons, that's a creation that has to take power from others in order to manifest itself. So in the real reality, the only creations that ever work, because everybody else claims their personal sovereignty, are the ones from your heart space, because that comes from your power source, if that makes sense. In this reality, everybody that's creating like governments that are controlling all that, who are they taking their power from? Their people, right? Which is why they need constant fear. They need constant all of this going on, because they're taking until there's nothing left. This is where we draw the line in the sand. You don't take from me anymore. You don't force me into slavery. I'm not going there. I'm not crossing that line. And so even though it seems like a toxic masculine energy, it's also the divine masculine, because the divine masculine is also the divine teacher. And sometimes the only way to learn a lesson truly is the hard way, right? And so we came down here knowing we would learn these lessons. We came down here choosing it. We chose into this experience knowing it would be difficult, knowing that it wouldn't be easy, because we wanted to claim our personal sovereignty. We wanted to overcome our fear. We wanted to be prepared to be a creator of our own realities. And that's what we're here learning and practicing. And so that's what all of this is really about. So this is a time more than ever before to fully claim your sovereignty, and you don't surrender it for anything. You refuse to surrender that sovereignty for anything or anyone. And that's how we hold the line.
Nice. Awesome.
And that's the feminine energy too. That's the feminine saying, no, I'm choosing my heart.
Yeah.
I'm not choosing the lie. I'm not choosing the program.
Yeah.
That's our spirit. We listen to our spirit, which is what I call our feminine side. So we all have it. Everyone has it. And the more you choose that, the more that will start to download into you. And you actually embody it. It's an embodiment that continues to happen. The more you claim your sovereignty and the more you choose your heart, the more you'll embody the divine. Or I would say the more the divine embodies you.
By that, you mean tapping into your own truth?
It's, yeah, if you want to call truth your heart. So I try to avoid the word truth because it can be so, what's the word I'm looking for? It can be so, it can have so many different possibilities.
It's inaccurate.
Whereas the heart just knows. And when you tap into the heart, yes, that is your truth. It's like that inner knowing that somehow you just know, but you don't know how you know that that's the right way for you.
Yeah.
And there's no fear in it. There's nothing. It's just who you are. In fact, you know what? The movie I watched last night, V for Vendetta. Interesting movie. Okay. So there's a guy in there and he wears a mask. And have you guys seen it?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. So when I did a plant medicine journey last week, and it showed me all this stuff that we've basically been in a cell, a prison. That's what this has been. And this prison is to reflect back to us all the possibilities of our consciousness that we can experience and see if we will choose love or if we will choose fear, if we will choose freedom or if we will choose captivity, right? Or personal sovereignty, I would say, even above the word freedom. We'll choose personal sovereignty. Anyhow, and in this movie, there gets to a point where this guy in this mask, again, the masculine, right? Think about this. This isn't, you'll see this in all the movies. Everything you watch, once you see it, you can't unsee it. And you'll see little pieces of it playing out everywhere. So I was so interested when I watched this movie last night, because it's exactly what was told to me the week before in this plant medicine journey. But this gal, she, you know, her parents were arrested and killed because they were trying to defy someone trying to take over their personal sovereignty. And she was afraid. So she just kind of shriveled back in, played the game, went along with it because she didn't want to be, you know, causing problems. Well, anyhow, so this one guy that wore the mask, he was like a freedom fighter, like major freedom fighter, and was doing everything. And long story short, at the end, he ends up capturing her, pretending to put her in a prison. She thought she was imprisoned like her parents were. Shaved her head, did the whole thing, and pretended that he was the bad guys, and said, you know, are you gonna reveal who he is so you can, you know, basically turn him in since he's practicing sovereignty. And she refused. So she's like, kill me then. I don't care. I'd rather die than, you know, turn someone in who's just claiming their sovereignty. Anyhow, and then he pulls her out and it's actually him that did it. She wasn't captured by the bad guys. She was captured by him, and he had fallen in love with her. And then he basically turned everything over to her, gave her all the power, and said, basically, I trust you. Wow. And this is so interesting because this is the same thing the Matrix had told me. Wow. The exact same story, played out in a different scenario, but that same thing, like the Matrix is looking for those with a pure heart who will choose sovereignty without fear, and that's who will be given the keys to the universe, you might say, the full embodiment of spirit. So it's an interesting show. I definitely recommend watching it.
Love that. Yeah. That is so awesome. That's a compression breakthrough. You know, it's like we go through all this chaos. Oh my gosh, this feels wrong. And then we stand up and then it's hard. And then maybe we go back a little bit, but it's like, no, I'm standing up. It's time. And then all our fears were just illusions anyway. And
exactly. Yes.
Level to another.
Yes.
That's so great.
And that is exactly, we are at point break, breaking point, or breakthrough 0 point. Nice. That's where we're at. This is the 0 point. Push to our very limits, push to the line, push to the masculine. That was the gift of the masculine energy of the Matrix, was to push us to the brink where we give up, go back into the fear and say whatever, or we push through and create something new. And that's where we're at, and that's what we're doing.
Well, we're friends because we're creator goddesses and we're helping to guide each other through this strange.
Absolutely.
And and one more thing about the sadness that Christina was talking about. Yeah, and anytime you have those emotions that come up, always just move through them. Don't try to go around them. Don't try to shove them and not notice them. Just really go deep. If you're feeling deep emotion, go deeper with it to understand it and explore it, because that's how we heal and transmute that energy. And just love the shit out of yourself as you go through that stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how those of us who are feeling, especially those collective energies, because we've done our own inner work, and so now we become vessels for healing of collective energies. That's how we heal it. It's looking for love. And I'll go more into that maybe another video, but it's just loving it is the most important.
Love that.
Yeah.
I'm going to wrap up this recording, and we're going to set up our next one, because let's go deeper into that, because it's an exciting time and that healing is so necessary.
And I apologize for all my moving around today too, by the way, guys. Sorry, I got home and Tony was sick, so I'm trying to get him all his vitamin C, and I had to run to the store after Laura got, so I had a lot less time than I expected. So anyways, it was not,
We
I was not
actually
very
know
prepared.
that's usually my thing. So it's nice. We didn't actually know we were recording either. So
Yeah. Anyways,
which
but it
is
worked out
great.
great. So just,
Spontaneous.
you know.
Yeah.